everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the US dollar currency index, DXY. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've been discussing the dollar for a long time because of its implications with Bitcoin. If you go look at the chart for the US dollar currency index, a couple things you'll notice is that generally speaking, when the dollar is moving up, Bitcoin is not. In fact, usually Bitcoin's moving down. So here's 2014. We know Bitcoin was going down during that phase. And then when the dollar is going down, like in 2017, we know that Bitcoin typically goes up. Okay, so the dollar goes up, Bitcoin was going down in 2014, and don't trust my word for it. Let's go look. Let me show you 2014. So here's 2014. So you can see in 2014 Bitcoin was trending down, and while the dollar was going up, and then in 2015 the dollar stopped this trend that it was on, and 2015 was sort of like an accumulation year, right? But 2017 was a major year for Bitcoin because we know 2017, which started right around here, was a huge parabolic move for the valuation of Bitcoin, and it coincided with the US dollar currency index dropping by approximately 15%. Okay, and then whenever we got above our bull market support band for the US dollar currency index, this also corresponded to ushering in a bear market. Okay, and so here was another example of the dollar going up, and during 2018 we know that Bitcoin was in fact going down. So the reason why this is somewhat concerning is to first say, well, we don't know exactly what will happen, right? Of course, none of us do. But if you look at the US dollar currency index, we know that 2020 and early 2021 was a pretty good time for Bitcoin. And during that time, up until recently, it had dropped by 13 to 14% as of late February. Okay, and Bitcoin was making fairly substantial moves during this period of time. Now, if you go back to the Bitcoin chart, we're currently at 58,708. So we're flirting still with prior all-time highs. In order to get to a new all-time high, we would basically need to go to approximately $62,000, representing a $3,300 increase in the current valuation of Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that it can't happen, and I'll be the first to say, as always, that momentum is hard to stop, and we've been saying this for the last 6 months, right? Momentum is hard to stop, but there will be a cool down phase at some point, most likely, okay? I mean, the alternative is we just keep riding, or I would say one alternative is we just keep riding this 8-week moving average, right? So the last time we tested the 20-week moving average was back in September and October. Last cycle, we basically just systematically tested our 20-week or 21-week EMA for the duration of the bull market. This one, we've more or less just been going straight up on the 8-week moving average. Now, the reason why that's important is because we also did something similar, maybe with a slightly shorter moving average back in 2013. But that ultimately led to a double peak cycle where we actually broke below the 20-week moving average at some point. So the reason I'm showing this is primarily to say, well, the dollar today is actually showing some strength. Now, the US dollar currency index is basically the valuation of the US dollar against a lot of other fiat currencies, major trade partners of the US. And so you could argue that if everyone's printing money, then maybe this isn't as valuable as it used to be. On the other hand, you could look at this and also say, well, the dollar has been dropping for the last year or so, up until December of or January of 2021, and it started to move back up. And we've covered DXY probably 5 or 6 times on the channel, with the general idea being that this would be a key level to watch because this is the same level that Bitcoin turned around, that the dollar turned around in 2018. So this is where the dollar turned around in 2018, and this is where it appears like it may be turning around in 2021. So what would this mean? Well, on any given day, I think the correlation between the dollar and Bitcoin is a complete wash. The problem is if this is not a fake out and we just continue moving higher, it might present some obstacles for Bitcoin to go to 6 figures in the short term. Okay, And the only reason I say that is it's not my opinion, okay? It's just looking at the data, recognizing that in 2018 we had the dollar moving up. We know that 2018 was a bear market. In 2014 we had the dollar moving up. We know that 2014 for Bitcoin was a bear market. So if the dollar starts moving up week over week, month over month, then I do think it might present challenges for Bitcoin to go to, say, that six-figure mark in the immediate future. Now, with that said, we are in a completely different environment today than we ever have been before. If you go look at the money supply, for instance, we know that the money supply has just absolutely gone through the roof over the last few months, over the last year or so. So if we look at monthly candles here, the money supply has completely changed. It's completely changed the game, and so looking at something like this, we know that it's not like everything is an exact comparison between prior cycles, because in the past the money supply was more or less just steadily increasing, and now people are printing money very, very quickly. Governments are printing money very quickly, and so it is I'm sure having some effect on the markets. So with that in mind, we will certainly want to keep an eye on Bitcoin while the dollar is moving up. The one, if you would like to see the dollar go down, I would say the one thing to consider is that we had a move in October of 2017 that took us above our bull market support band, but it ultimately ended up being a fake out, and we continued lower. However, if we see this week over week just continuing to go up, I do think it might present some obstacles for Bitcoin in the short term, not for, say, the entire duration of the cycle, but it could present some obstacles in the short term if the dollar were to continue to gain valuation week over week and month over month. So we'll keep an eye on things. Obviously, a lot of us want to see Bitcoin go to 100K. I would like to see it happen as well, but let's also be somewhat cautious, especially when looking at a trend like the US dollar, and recognizing that when it has historically gone up, Bitcoin has struggled a little bit. When it's gone down, Bitcoin does really well. It went down in 2020 and early 2021. Bitcoin did very well. It has started going up again, and since breaking the bull market support band, the price of Bitcoin has not been able yet to put in a new all-time high. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because we're not, the dollar's not out of the woods yet in terms of being on, like, say, a decisive uptrend. But so far, if you just look at these turnaround points that 2018 had and 2021 have, they do look fairly similar, right? Some consolidation around the bottom, and then an explosive move back up. And we might be at the beginning stages of that right now. So if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we also have the premium list. The altcoin season sale is ending tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day to sign up to lock in the lower rate. Make sure you guys check that out. You'll get access to the weekly reports and videos, the premium Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, the Into the Cryptoverse app, and more. So make sure you guys check that out and lock in the lower rate. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Click the bell icon to turn on your notifications. I will see you next time. Bye.